All right, everybody, welcome back. I hope you're doing well. In today's topic, we're going to be discussing dominate or become dominated. There is no in between. Sooner or later, life will show you that you are all on your own. Some of us face this early, whether you were born into a bad family, you've had bad friends, terrible relationships, or you were born in an overall negative life circumstance. It doesn't matter because the foundation is the same. That foundation is you don't have what you want, and it's up to you to get it. Or, and they don't tell you this part, or you live a quiet life of failure. Because that's the reality. We try to mask reality instead of facing reality because reality is completely different than what you were told and shown as a child. And it's a lot to bear, especially when you were fed nothing but lies. In order to transition from the world of these lies that was told to you and witness reality for what it really is, most oftentimes you are going to have to psychologically break yourself and then rebuild yourself. How many times do you think you could do that before you don't come out the same anymore? For most of us, if we choose growth, if we choose development, you've had to do it over and over and over again. A quick example of that is when the red pill first came out many years ago. A lot of people didn't believe it. I was one of them. But over time, over the course of my journey, I slowly had to break and rebuild until I realized that I keep rebuilding this with lies instead of the reality that's being shown to me. And I've watched guys who could not rebuild after they have been psychologically broken. And it's sad to see. Some guys understand that it's too much and they would rather live in the fantasy of the lies than face reality. And whether they like it or not, or how we feel about it, sooner or later they become dominated. They become one of these men that, something's going to happen to them in the future, and we'll talk about that. And it's hard to deal with because, they fed you a lot of lies. Some of these lies, they told you that cheaters never win, right? That's a lie. Recently, I watched a member of the government funnel $143 million of taxpayer money, and all that happened to her was she was reassigned to a different position. She didn't go to jail. Nothing happened to her. She just went to a different position. Well, that $143 million didn't just walk away. Actually, I'll insert a clip of that right here.
Two of them were
That's
chosen.
inaccurate, Madam Secretary. I'll read from the notice from your agency. Given the immediate action to significantly reduce illegal immigration and border crossings, DHS identified 4 companies. 4 of the hundreds of thousands of companies in the United States, you identified 4. One of those is this Safe America Media company. Where is Safe America Media headquartered?
I don't know.
I don't know either, Madam Secretary. We can't find it. We can't find a website. We did find an address that's registered for this company. Do you know where that address is?
Is there a problem with this contract?
I'll
Because
tell you
was
about
done
it.
According to
Madam
law.
Secretary,
It was done by
the
career
address is
officials.
registered to a political
It was
operative.
dollars that were spent
Madam Secretary, the company,
inform
and then
people
I'll give you an
that the
opportunity to
laws-
respond.
Look.
The company is registered to a political operative in Virginia. Do you know, just by way of example, whether this company that received $143 million in taxpayer dollars, has it ever done work for the government before?
I don't know. I can't.
The answer is it has not. And do you know why we know that? Because it was incorporated 8 days before this contract went out. You want the American people to believe that this is all above board?
Yes,
that $143 million of taxpayer money just happened to go to this one company that doesn't have a headquarters, doesn't have a website, has never done work for the federal government before, and is registered, apparently, or attached to a residence from a political operative. And of course, one of the subcontractors of that contract, as you know, is a political firm that's tied to you back when you were governor of South Dakota. The reason why I ask these questions is that this is taxpayer money. And I presume, I don't know this for a fact, but Senator Tillis noted yesterday the way in which your agency is blocking the Inspector General from 11 different investigations that it is trying to conduct. I don't know if this happens to be one of them. I certainly hope it is, because eventually the facts will become public in this regard.
Now, my quick question to you is, given your current job, how long would you have to work until you make $143 million? You don't have to do the math on that. We already understand that you would probably have to work for the rest of your life and you still wouldn't come close. But yet in 8 days, she was able to funnel that money. Astounding. But they'll tell you that cheaters never win. She looks like she's winning to me. The next lie they tell you is they tell you to get a good job. They tell you to settle down, have a family with a nice woman, and live happily ever after. But in my journey, I've watched a known degenerate seduce and have physical relations with countless wives and girlfriends, oftentimes with the wives coming back for more. Some of these women even get pregnant and then push the child off on the good man. With the internet, all that has done is exposed the nature of this relationship. Back in the day, you would have to be in the streets or just in the know to even witness something like that, or else you would never believe it. But now it's plastered all over the internet if you're able to stumble upon it. The next lie they told you is they told you that violence wasn't the answer. How many times have they told you that? Yet I've watched my president storm a country and kidnap their president. And then after that initiated a war that we're currently in. And they did this all so they could have their way. They told you that crime was unacceptable. And when committed, the justice system will act immediately. At least they do with you. But then I watched a certain list come out, and I noticed how most people just pretended it never happened. Where is the reality versus where is the lie? It's almost as if the thing that they were telling us were trying to mask the real reality. So while you play in fantasy land, the lie, they're playing an actual reality. And when we look back, we start to see that you're not the one that's receiving all of these rewards, but they are. See, I'm not here to tell you what's right and what's wrong. That's up to you, your morals, and your beliefs. I'm here to show you the reality that you live in. The world they showed you and indoctrinated you to believe that it's your job to take care of that world, but it's being abused by the very people who is telling you not to abuse it. Well, when you figure out that all they've been telling you is lies, you realize that getting any type of source from these individuals isn't going to cut it, and it's just going to lead you down a path of your own destruction, or what I mentioned earlier, a quiet life of failure. So when do you start to listen to yourself? When do you start going after what you want every day? Because the secret is what you want and what you go after every day. That's all you have as a man. This becomes more apparent as you get older. You realize where you're prevailing, or you realize where you're failing. Also, you have to do this while tackling more and more responsibilities. Some of those responsibilities include go to the gym, eat clean, go to sleep on time, get your macronutrients in, your micronutrients in, be attractive to women, be a leader, take care of your family or prepare for one, take care of your bills, save for retirement, make more money, defend yourself from demons, defend yourself from other men, defend yourself from women, defend yourselves from Jezebels, controlling your addictions, learning new skills, diagnose and solve your issues, running errands every single day. It's a lot. And failing to wake up every day and dominate as much of this list as possible will lead you to a life of quiet desperation and rage until you snap. Children get protection, you see, but once you turn a certain age, you're thrown into the jungle and told to figure it out. So my question is, what will you do? Because the only thing you can do is whatever you can, and that's the fight. That's the battle. You realize that none of these people are playing fair, and the people who aren't playing fair are telling you that you should always play fair. That's confusing. But once you realize that these people are lying to you, you say, okay, well, maybe I don't play fair. But you forget for the last 20, 25, 30, 40, 50 years, you've always played by the rules. You've built belief system around the rules. So going from this person of following these made up rules to somebody who doesn't follow those made up rules, it's not something that you can flip. It's not a switch that flips. Now you have to untie everything. And some of these ties are held to your beliefs. And when you realize that all of this is nothing but a big tangle like Christmas lights, and your job is to untangle this while becoming successful in every area of your life, you realize the situation that you're in. And you can see how this has split amongst different men. We have the men who have completely given up and they say to hell with everything, and you can see it in them. They've let themselves go. They don't worry about their appearance. They don't worry about attracting women or having any type of relations at all. They don't move up in the world. They stay at their place. And it just is what it is. Most of the times these people are not happy with where they're at, but trying to them seems pointless because they're already too far deep. They're already a victim of the strategist of the dominant. Excuse me. You have most men, and I'm assuming that you're one of these men who are somewhere in the middle where you're trying your best, realizing that it may or may not be good enough, but you don't allow yourself to quit entirely. You simply do what you can and try to convince yourself every day to do more. And then there's the last who life was okay for them. We never talk about this because in people's mind, everybody has to suffer, but the reality is everybody's not suffering. There are people who were born into a good family. There are people who had a great support system emotionally, mentally, financially. I know people who went to college and they went to, first of all, they went to college in a different state. Those of you who paid for your college, you understand there's in-state tuition and out-of-state tuition. Out-of-state tuition is far more than in-state tuition. So not only are they out-of-state tuition, but then they don't stay in the dorms, they stay in their own apartment. And everything is paid for. Their apartment is paid for, the food that they eat is paid for. They get a certain allowance on Ubers. And you meet these people, and it's when I first heard it, it was such a shock to my system because I couldn't even fathom how they could live, how to live a life like that. But they exist. You have people who their families do it right. They're doing everything right. But I try not to focus on that because it doesn't matter. I hear a lot of guys complain because, they're not born tall enough or good looking enough or rich enough or from this place or smart or capable. It doesn't matter. None of it matters. The only thing that matters is the things that you focus on and what you can do every single day. Or give up and live a quiet life of failure. And that's the sad part about it, is when you're a child and something isn't going your way, usually if you're a baby, you'll cry about it. Small children, they'll cry about it, and somebody will come in and say, what's going on? They'll assess the situation. They'll realize how severely things aren't going in your favor, and most will tilt the scales to where you may not be able to get the best, but you'll get something. And that something is just enough to make you feel better about yourself and the situation and the environment that you're in. But as you start to get older, when you reach a certain age, 25 plus, 30 plus, you realize that crying isn't going to help you. Nothing is going to help you. In fact, the only thing that's going to help you is yourself. So where does that start? It starts with understanding what it is that you want, what it is that you need to be focusing on, and then waking up every single day with a mindset of dominate or become dominated. That's going to be it for today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.